So our next question is, what do I do when others in these contexts are clearly not demonstrating presence?
So that's a tricky question because a lot of it will depend on the context and the relationship that you might have with this audience, right? At the very at a very drastic level, sometimes you'll be on a video call and the other person won't have turned on their video at all, right? So there's clearly a lack of presence from that nonverbal body language perspective. And in cases like that, I actually go back to the way that meeting was set up and the expectations that either were or were not in place. It's pretty challenging once you're already on the call to ask someone to turn on their video, right? They may just not have been expecting it, or it'd be in a position where they really can't. But let's say that the person is on video and you're noticing that they are possibly very distracted, or they have their computer set up in a way that they are looking off to the side and randomly nodding. So it could be that their screens are set up in a way that are very much not conducive to that feeling of mutual connection and presence. If you're in a position of being able to provide feedback on the go to this individual, if that's the context of the conversation, it's definitely something you can take a moment to pause and check in with them, ask them a little more about their surroundings, how they are set up. Am I off to the side? Is that why you keep looking away? Or is it a distraction or something else? Like, it's a lot of the things that we pick up on, whether we're in person or virtual, can lead to a different line of questioning or observation. Versus making snap judgments, right? We want to avoid making snap judgments based on what we're perceiving, so we can have it be a conversation and an opportunity to connect and learn more about someone. Providing feedback becomes almost impossible if you're not in that position of being able to provide feedback. And in that case, it is a little trickier. I don't know, Abby, what you think about that.
I think you're completely right. This is something that we see a lot now with Zoom. Because, for example, when I give lectures, a lot of the time students don't want to turn their cameras on. And our atmosphere is contagious. Attitudes are contagious and feeling is contagious. So when there's some people slumped and not paying attention and others with their cameras off, it's actually very difficult for you to maintain your own presence. And then as soon as you start losing your presence, it's really difficult for them to follow and enjoy it and feel engaged. So again, I think it is about setting those expectations up beforehand. Not all of us are in the position that we can do. I know when I was teaching, I wasn't allowed to say everybody turn your cameras on because we had to be respectful of people who weren't in the position to be able to have their cameras on. Maybe they didn't have a proper work environment. So it can be very difficult. But if you are in a position to ensure that everybody does have their cameras on and everybody is engaging, try and encourage that as much as you can, because otherwise it will affect your presence as well as the rest of the rooms.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what that touches on is especially like the power we have of observing other people on video is it's powerful, right? It's very, the way we show up is very loud, even though we may not always be talking, right? And our behaviors speak volumes. So as we are observing others, being able to reflect on how their energy might be affecting us and how our energy may be affecting other people is a really fascinating dynamic to be aware of, right? And then to intentionally, show up the way you want and help other people show up in a way that's conducive to the conversation as well.
Absolutely.